I know what prison do for me, and I know, you know what I mean? Not 100 years, nobody wants to just go to jail forever, but a year and a half, 2 years is fine. That's arrest. It's arrest, and ain't no, right, ain't no big deal. Now, I want you to understand, you go to get your, these little movies they put out. I want you to study these 3 movies. Number 1 is Superfly. What's the party line? A gangster that wants to go straight. And he has it out with the crooked police officials. Now, you study that. I told y'all Chief Gaines came to the church, Allen Temple, and that old freckle-faced red lieutenant. The only thing is, my problem was that I didn't listen to my father. It's not a problem, it's just it was my attitude. He said, boy, you gotta get it, because you gotta remember your grandfather ran a nice gambling establishment. You gotta remember that. When I was getting arrested one time on 82nd, 1252, 82nd Avenue, them apartments right next to Will Starger's mother's house on 82nd, right there. The police was offering me, well, you don't have to go to jail, you just cooperate, just do this, that. I said, look, here's what you do. We play cops and robbers. Y'all chase me around, try to put me in jail, and I run around, you know, and try to stay out of jail. My father comes in, and the vice squad said, oh, the gamblers here. They all knew my father. And he was trying to tell them that the boy go over there. Don't worry, we got it carried. So and then he left. So I didn't even know that the whole vice knew my father well. But vice, gambling, prostitution, and drugs, right? Those are vices. Gambling is a vice, that's what they said. So my father paid them guys. He told me, you give them white folks they cut and go on about your business. I ain't giving them white folks a dime about the white folks. That was the problem. It's not a problem. That was my attitude, and that was good. They were from the country. They were from the country. In every town, you gotta pay the sheriff. You know what I mean? You can't do nothing illegal, and the sheriff, you ain't gonna get a sheriff nothing. You just gonna be a nigga gonna get rich, and you ain't gonna pay the institution. You pay them, they let you go. You can moonshine, you can do anything you want. But you gotta give them their cut. You can have a gambling house that can stay open till 5 a.m. in the morning. If you give them their little cut, right? You got to. In Oakland, boy, we run, y'all all remember, you gotta think and remember how Oakland was. Martin Luther King didn't do it. Nobody, NAACP ain't did it. Urban League haven't did it. None of those people. Martin Luther King went to Chicago in 1968 to develop, right, a black economic enterprise zone. He was killed right away. He didn't do it. Okay. The movie first is Superfly. Watch that. Then after that, Superfly TNT. They made a mistake with Superfly TNT. They were following me around, writing the script as I go. Superfly TNT, Superfly goes to Africa, but nigga, you know goes to Africa. All this stuff is either real or it's not. They made a mistake. They showed all of those Negroes in Africa practicing Islam. They must have showed a big Eid festival in Nigeria. And everybody, when I was in the pen, I saw it. I said, boy, that's good. Then the Mac. Where's the Mac at in Oakland? Mac is in Oakland. Why? Y'all was in Oakland. What was everybody talking about for years after I left. They're talking about me, right? The impact I had on Oakland, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So they brought the Mac out. Who's in the Mac? All the Oakland Negroes. Ward brothers and all the Negroes from all over Oakland are there. Billy Barnes, them, they all there. Roosevelt Taylor, them, right? Pastor Taylor over at the church now. All of them, they're there in the movie. Why? So those Negroes would be talked about instead of me. Because they made a mistake with Superfly TNT. Because what do you do if you run off from America? Well, you wander around for a while and you go to Africa. What do you do when you go to Africa? Get involved in the liberation movement. They made a mistake. They made a mistake. It's, oh my God, what do we do? Then they come up with the MAC. Pimps, hustlers, and Negroes. That's what it was. I don't know if you ever saw the MAC. That's what it was, the MAC. Okay. Why the MAC? The impression that we have made on Oakland is permanent. You guys allowed the white man to teach you that our condition is temporary and his is permanent. Okay, I'm not going to go over all of this stuff, but we'll eventually go over things like the Arab Spring, where we say there will be no Arab Spring. That's 2011. There was no Arab Spring, and the world is exactly where we thought it would be, at its own pen, its own paper, and it's in the news. Everybody knows this. That is a reality. All our forecasts, about 20 million people going to Najaf and Karbala. Why I'm not back in Oakland? Because on January the 3rd, they assassinated our brother. And everything we told the people exactly happened. It wasn't bad. All of a sudden you see millions of people in the street, right? Millions!
Yeah.
Millions of people in the street. That means when the side is talking about, I want to thank you for giving me some understanding of the knowledge of the inner workings of things, you have to get used to your uncle. You have to get used to your brother. You have to get used to your family member being smarter than the whole system of the government. And you have to look around and you have to see what's the proof of that. Well, if they organize the whole state of California, from UCLA to San Jose State, UC Berkeley, right? All of those, UC Irvine, and they got them all organized based on YOU. And when they leave, all of them leave on the same signal from them. And their organizations here all follow the same principle. Everybody knows the forecasts are correct and the behavior is correct. I want y'all to remember it was 1970. Was closing a record shop, getting ready to go to Monterey Jazz Festival. That's right. Here come the police. So the police is messing with me. I go to Mama's house. Do you know those old scenes of a mother in her night clothes trying to protect their son and his busted upside head, blood streaming all down Samuel and stuff. And I'm the richest nigga in the region. that day solidified. I ain't going nowhere. The cracker gonna have to kill me. You can sign up for all those classes on Peckerwoodism. All of y'all. You can sign up for them classes on Peckerwoodism. I'm telling you, everything is forgiven. If we can forgive all the other Negroes, you think I can't forgive my family? You're average human beings. And the average human being believes or cooperates with the system of the day. It don't make no difference what the system is. It's cooperate. Why? Because the system has power, authority. And you think I don't have no power, and you don't think I have no authority. But what I want y'all to do is look over the last few years and think. Out of the whole United States, who's on the ascendancy and who's on the decline? We're on the ascendancy. And we take credit for all the decline that he had, because we said that's what's going to happen to him. The more you mess with me, boss man, the faster you're going to fall. See if it's true. Just see, he said, my uncle said, the faster or the more they mess with him, the faster they're going to decline, and the more suicidal behavior the Americans are going to develop. Just for instance, just look in the news. You can see the news. What is America doing? It's running the whole world away from itself. It's losing all, I won't say losing, lost. Finished. All of his reputation, everything. Nobody has confidence in it anymore, except a few Negroes. And I know they put over at Howard, they put it if you go to a Muslim conference, you'll see the federal government said we need people to speak Dari, Pashto, Urdu, all the Muslim languages. They have a
all the Muslim languages, yeah.
And you think those slow immigrants are not going to go and sign up? One lawyer in Texas, he spoke before me program. He said half of my clients, he's an immigration lawyer, are asked, of course it's more than that, will you cooperate with us if we, that's what they ask. They're begging to get in the U.S. What do you think they're going to say? Okay. Everyone is out of their league. Here's what happened. Nobody thought that anybody would last as long as we have. It's just not in the cards. Martin Luther King, 12, 13 years. Malcolm X, 12, 13 years. Okay, I want you to remember them as they were. And I want you to remember me as I was during their time. Actually, I was implementing at that time the exact thing they were talking about. You gotta remember that. I was implementing a black economic enterprise zone in Oakland, California. And you don't hear about it nowhere. But just remember, how was Oakland then? How was y'all's life then? How was everybody's life? What kind of cars was people driving when they pull up? Hey, man, what's going on? They was all driving new cars, and they was the most expensive cars. And they had money of their own. Why? Because we circulated the money in the community. That's what we did. All right. So why do you think I have to leave the country and everything? Just because I'm black? Well, that has something to do with it. But because of what I was doing. And successful at it. Why do you think the police, I don't care whether it's South Africa, why do you think, you probably didn't see it now, but why do you think if Our greatest leader in the Islamic movement in 1996 says, this man here is the nicest guy in the world. Da, 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 da. And all of a sudden, everybody's mouth is closed and they ain't doing it. They are, well, they should be for me, because that's what the leaders are against. I'm trying to tell you, everything they did. I got a call yesterday from my friend that introduced me to the drug dealer. And he didn't already know, because the police tell everybody, all this stuff is just like y'all know too, when you come back out, well, forgiveness is a big deal. Those are the same people. They're thinking, man, I messed up. I blew a multi-million-dollar operation. I blew it. No, you didn't. When they convinced me to deal drugs, they confirmed my mission. Technically, they was doing God's work. The police is telling them, no, I only created men and jinn to serve me. Everything that happened, I want you to remember, everything that happened to me was to refocus me and get me. I didn't have nothing to do in 1966. I went to work for a Longview Fiber Company, saved my money, and I was having a nice time just living it up. Then they came and changed it. Why? If we get him involved in drugs, we're going to divert him from this little blackish stuff going on. And after all, the Black Panther Party just got formed. We don't want this stuff to spread. So they identify all the popular young people around. They want to divert them. That's what they did with me. They did not divert me. They confirmed my mission. I'm telling you, they confirmed my mission. Because if anything would have happened different, I wouldn't be here today. When I was when I used to go, y'all used to visit me every night, and I'd go to them jails. Remember, y'all grew up on the street. I grew up in jail. State raised, remember? I'd come out for a month, 2, 3 months, and I would go back, and I would stay 2 or 3 years as a kid, right? That's a long time when you're a kid. Okay, why? Because I was being raised up under boss man. And that's why, and I always went to the hole, always. You ask anybody, I'm always going to the hole. I'm in isolation all the time, by myself. I was supposed to come home in '64. They had to ride in the field house. But they took my date. You can ask Terrell. My name is still on Farouk. Farouk Abdullah still got that old paperwork from 1964 when we was all in the hole for that riot in the field house. They took my date. Wonderful if I would have came home in early '64 instead of early '65. Guess what? I'd have went right back up on the 85th and been drinking wine. But I didn't. I got deeper and deeper into this Nation of Islam stuff, and when I came out, I didn't smoke, I didn't drink, I didn't do nothing. And it was a miracle. In 1965, how many Negroes did anybody know that didn't eat pork, didn't smoke cigarettes, didn't drink alcohol? Well, what do you do? People would ask me, well, what do you do? Remember the 65. Smoke weed? selling weed before I ever even smoked a joint. Rich. Now I see why everybody buying this stuff. But anyway, let's move on. The point is that everything that they did to hurt the brother always came out as a help. 66, 71 when I left the country. Oh, I didn't leave the country out of weakness. I left the country with $150,000. I left the country with more than anybody else had. After years of fighting the government when you're supposed to be broke. Remember all the arrests that I used to have in Oakland? Oh, the police arrested me in 1970 on April Fool's Day. They arrested me 3 times in one day, just to be funny. So how you like that, nigga? No problem, boss man. But when you have the foresight, when you have the insight, and when you have the discipline to wait boss man out, to train yourself over the long periods of time, then you become a blessed personality. That's what it is. That everything, when you took me to turn myself in, and niece that is, 1973, it was not from weakness. In 1978, when I not turned myself in, but in 1980, when they took me back, I come out in 81, ready to go. All of it turned out good. Unbelievable. Now, the things that y'all have been participating in, the poorhouse over there on, you know what street. I'm not going to even talk about the dumb stuff, but just imagine what y'all did. Now remember, I don't want to go through it, but I'm supposed to own 62% of the property, because everybody else been paid off. And dear sister, your mother was supposed to own 37 of those yards. Remember when dear sister passed away, the only account on that property was in her name and my name. But niece